Yo, guys, this is Lord Natsu here, and today we're gonna be doing this. And yeah, like I said, I was going to. This is part 3 of what if Deku was his Spider-Man, and yeah, Zuko will, you know, his final project, his final suit, which is also his final project, will be done right before the fight against Overhaul. So yeah. Oh, and okay, yeah. We start off where Suga's going to the training camp. Oh, and Stain and Peter are staying at pretty much staying at this city to look over it. So yeah, and Zuko pretty much once he gets off the bus, pretty much Nasha, pretty much the order. The first three that get out of the bus is Nasha, Zuko, Nasha, and Kirishima in that order for the first three. And Nasha is almost as smart as Zuko, so she'll be able to see what's going on. And right now, Zuko is smarter than Peter now. So Nasha is as smart as Peter now. And Kirishima is halfway there. And Nasha and Zuko's like, well, fuck it. And yeah, Zuko just says, Nasha, here. And he pretty much gets into his pocket and tosses pretty much pretty much, no, he doesn't do that. Pretty much right before they could, one of them could smash the ground, Zuko's like, Nasha, Kirishima. And they're like, got it. And pretty much, yeah, because Nasha knows immediately, and Kirishima was told in secret. So yeah. Pretty much all three of them ran towards the cliff. And pretty much Aizawa was like, they figured it. Pretty much they thought, they figured it out already. Oh, and everyone else was like, what? And then pretty much Zuko just jumped in. Well, pretty much before he jumped, Nasha went onto Zuko's back, and Kirishima jumped with Zuko. And then Zuko, dude, started web swinging with. Before he started web swinging, he grabbed Kirishima's wrist, and Kirishima did the same thing. So that's in pretty much 5 minutes later, they got to the building. And Zuko pretty much went back into the woods for food and vegetables. Well, for meat and vegetables. So yeah. And yeah, that was a second before they could break that to make an avalanche for them. So yeah, then they made an avalanche and all that happened. And the Pussycats asked, so Aizawa, how did he know? It's like, only as far as I know, he is pretty smart, so I figured he would figure out easily. I'm guessing he's been with the other two for a while now because they've also figured it out. And they're like, wait, really? It's like, yeah. Seems like Nasha is a little bit smarter than the other one, though. And they're like, the red hair kid? He's like, yeah. And they're just not so. Do you know anything about him? I was like, there's some things you probably wouldn't like me to talk about, but I do know a few things. And they're like, oh, and that is? It's like, well, first off, he is an intelligence, pretty much intelligence enhancement quirk, some type of quirk that is like the shadow spider, and some other stuff. And like, oh, okay. Then and that's when they were driving through the building. So yeah, we skip to when the heroes get there and they smell food. And half of the meat that Zuko's made is cooked. And he's like, oh, and unbeknownst to Aizawa, Zuko sees him as a father. Like a father figure. So yeah. If Zuko sees Aizawa out of school, he's just gonna call him Aizawa-san. But in school, he's gonna call him Aizawa-san. I mean, Aizawa-sensei. And Zuko's like, yeah, since this isn't... Wait, first he would be like, is this on school grounds? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And he would be like, Aizawa-sensei, would you like some... Would you like a meal? And he'd be like, I am hungry a little bit. Like, alright then. And then he immediately, pretty much as fast as he could without spilling any of it, pretty much got the meat, vegetables, and he asked, Aizawa, what type of drink would you like? And he's like, water will be fine. He's like, alright, and then he gets some water. And then he sprints right over to Aizawa and gives him a plate of the meat, vegetables, and he has a fork with it. And he has a cup of water for him. He's like, here you go. It's like, thank you, Midoriya. It's like, no problem, Sawa. And he gives him the drink and plate. And then we skip to when all the students get there and they smell food. Yeah, when they smell food, and when they go in the building, they see pretty much Aizawa, the Pussycats, Zuko, Nasha, and Kirishima eating. And they're like, no. Zuko's like, are you guys gonna eat or not? And they're like, oh, okay. And yeah, he got enough food for the whole class, so yeah. He was nice enough to do that. He doesn't even trust any of them. Not one bitch. He only slightly trusts his Ida. That's it. But Aizawa, he trusts half as much as Nasha and Kirishima. And Peter. So yeah. What you say? Now and Zuko, then when Zuko sees a little kid, he's like, he asks, what's a little kid doing here? And she tells him the kid's situation. And yet, Zuko just has, in his mind, he is pretty much, if he didn't have a stone face right now, you would see 3 tick marks on his face. But he is crazy calm on the outside, but on the inside, he is ballistic about it. And she was like, oh, alright then. Now we get to we actually then someone's about to ask how Zuko is, just ask who cooked this, and then Zuko just pretty much Nasha, Kirishima, Zuko, and Aizawa keep their mouths shut. Yeah, and when Shino sees this, she's actually confused and pretty much all but Shino. Sorry about that. Anyway, we skip to the villain attack of the sports of this camp. Wait, actually no, we skip to the training of it. And pretty much the Pussycats try to find something that they can do to train him, but they can't. Nothing. So Izuku's like, this might be disgusting, but I'm gonna do it. And they're like, what? And Izuku's like, this. And I was like, what are you gonna do? It was like, something disgusting and new for you guys. And so I was like, it's like, yeah. Be ready for something very disgusting. And then he cuts off his, and then he uses his, pretty much, grabs a strong sword from, no, a dagger from his, basically a sword that is able to cut straight through him easily. Because basically a sword, each time it gets blood, it becomes stronger and his skin becomes stronger. Each time it gets cut, basically, each time his bones and meat and muscles, basically his bones, muscles and skin get cut off, they get stronger. So yeah, and then he cuts it off. So anyway, so I was like, oh, pretty much all three of them, pretty much everyone that was looking at him, which was Pussycats and Aizawa, they pretty much were like, and he's like, yeah, told you it would be disgusting, and like, how? And like, why did you do that? And it's like, give it a minute. And then 3 seconds later, his arm completely grew back. Remember, I had it so first his bones would grow back, then his muscles, and then his skin. And they're like, oh, they're like, why? And they're like, don't know how I got this. I did. And they're like, oh god, that's basically what you can do all day, and it, like, yeah. And basically, each time it regenerates, the regeneration gets stronger by a second. So like it's 1 second faster. So yeah, by the time he gets 100% of that regeneration, it'll only take a millisecond. Then we get to the villains attacking. Hey guys, oh, and since Stain never did that thing, Dobby and Tugga won't be there. Everyone else will. Well, basically, anyone that was inspired by Stain won't be there, which I don't know everybody that was inspired by them. But I'm gonna say it's Tugga, Dobby, Twice, and Compress. Those four, so yeah, everyone else will be there. Now we skip to... Yeah, now we skip to the... Pretty much when the villains attack, Zuko's arm, and he's been cut, he pretty much cut off his arm. Actually, no. This regeneration increases each time he cuts off his arm and it regenerates, and it increases by 1 millisecond. So by the time he's 16, his regeneration will be up notch. pretty much the strongest it can be. So yeah. If you took out his heart, well actually, yeah. If you just stab one of his organs, it would immediately heal by the time he's 16. So yeah. But very little people know of it. Only, yeah, no one will know of it except Aizawa and the Pussycats. So yeah. And we get to when the villains attack. Oh, and also, when Suga's arm finally grew back, the blood on the blade pretty much was sucked into the blade and made it stronger. So yeah, and he pretty much just kept cutting his arm until the training was finished. So now we get to the villains attacking, and she's like, Koda! And he pretty much rushes straight towards Koda's location. Actually, no, he just followed Koda. And when he's so muscular, he's like, And then he saw, like, stuff that, and then he started seeing muscles. He's like, he pretty much, yeah, he has and he puts his hero suit on that, basically his strongest hero suit. Basically the strongest Demon Shadow outfit. Which isn't his final project. He'll have that done when he's sick. Right before he... Right? Yeah, basically he'll have it done when he attacks. It'll be completely finished when he attacks Overhaul. And nothing will happen. Sorry about that. Anyway, when Izuku saw muscles coming from this huge guy, he's like, no. And he immediately put on his strongest suit, which isn't his final project. He has the title of his project is The Final Project. No, he calls it The Ultimate Suit. So yeah, and Zuzu's like, no. And he pretty much goes straight. Oh, and once he has his regeneration to its max, yeah, even if you took out his heart and destroyed it, it would immediately regenerate. So yeah, he would still be alive at the point. You would have to completely destroy his head for it to work. Because yeah, cutting off his head, not gonna happen. Alright, so when Izuku saw Matsu's arm, he was like, nope, and pretty much dashed straight for Koda and pretty much grabbed him by his arms. Sorry about that. Okay, where I left off, Izuku, Demon Shadow basically jumped straight for Koda and grabbed him and pretty much flee. Pretty much went back to the building, put Koda in there and like, wait here, and pretty much went directly back to where my school there is, and yeah, the moment he started going over there, he actually did something he hasn't done before. He imagined himself going out of his hero costume, and then he touched the vigilante outfit and turned into that one. Basically the strongest version of that. He's basically working on two versions of that costume. Of that final project, which he calls the Ultimate Demon Shadow. So yeah, he has the strongest version of his... Basically, the strongest version of what he's made for both Vigilante and Hero. So yeah, Suku just puts his vigilante outfit on. The spider, shadow spider has appeared. He becomes Shadow Spider again in the day. Actually, no, this is at night, so this works perfectly for him. And he basically kills Muscular. One, Zuku, Shadow Spider, and Demon Shadow are far stronger than Muscular. Second, he is faster than him. Far smarter. And has skills and pretty much has abilities that could easily defeat him. So yeah, he kills him. And he went like Muscular. Actually, no, he doesn't kill him. He just knocks him out to the point. Basically, just paralyzes him to the point where he can't walk anymore. You literally would have to use a stroller at that point. So yeah, now we get to all the pretty much Koda. Zuko just now switches back to his hero costume, and immediately goes to Koda and sees if he's alright. And it's like, "Kid, are you alright?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Good." And then he immediately goes towards the hero. Like, sorry about any noise you hear outside. He goes to the heroes and he tells Shino that Koda. Yeah, she was worried about Koda, and then he says, Shino, Koda is safe. You don't have to worry. And he goes, she's like, thank God. He's like, yeah. Now, for these villains. And then he goes after all the villains. He's like, Aizawa, do you give permission for all of us to use our powers? And he's like, yes. And he's like, good. And then he's like, then he goes up, pretty much goes to the person that has that telepathic ability. And pretty much, it's like, can you help me spread a message? It's like, sure. And then, yeah, he tells everybody that they can use their quirks. Yeah, then they all start using their quirks. So yeah, all the pretty much at the end, the League of Villains fleed with Bakugo in hand. Well, actually, no, they couldn't get Bakugo. So yeah, they just fled with nothing in their hands. But Zuko then grabbed a spider tracker from his pocket and immediately flicked it towards Shigaraki. And it stuck to his hair. And no villain knew. So yeah, and yes, he flicked it so fast that only he could see it. Oh, and Nasha. Nasha and Izuku are almost equal in power. Like, if basically in speed and strength, Nasha is basically only half of Izuku's strength and speed. So yeah. And Kirishima is a quarter of it. Right now is a little bit less than a half of Izuku's strength and speed. So yeah, when all the villains leave with nothing in their hands, he pretty much goes to Aizawa and goes like, Aizawa. It's like, what is it, Midori? It's like, I have a tracker on the main villain. It's like, go to our Midori. It's like, yeah. The only problem is you're gonna have to take me with you. It's like, why? It's like, only I can direct you towards the tracker. It's like, alright then. Yeah, then they make a team of heroes to take down the League of Villains. And they all ask, why is this kid here? It's like, Then Shu just says, because my tracker only allows me to track it, no one else. And pretty much Aizawa also gave Shuku the confirm to allow him to use his quirks, which basically is just 2. Yeah, Shuku only finds Aizawa the best. In his opinion, Eraserhead is the best hero. Right next to Spiderman and himself. Stain. Well, yeah, Shuku and Peter are technically heroes. In the way. Basically, if there was no hero license, all these heroes wouldn't exist, except Aizawa. And Midnight. Everyone else would just have random jobs. So yeah, it's like, and yeah, when we get to the League of Villains, pretty much, All Might, not pretty much, yeah, we get to the point where they get sucked into a portal, and then Shugo sees all for one. Because yeah, for some reason, actually no, basically he followed All Might, and Zuko was like, when he sees the mask and the shape this person's in, and he's like, wait a minute. All Might looks angry at him. And then his eyes widen. And he's just immediately goes like, and Zuko's like, he's like, and then he pretty much pushes us, he pretty much takes out his strongest hero costume, pretty much the hero costume he used last time. And then he brings out one of his strongest non-lethal weapons. A giant staff that only he can wield. And it pretty much comes out of his, he's like, pretty much opens one of his, opens a pocket. Sorry about that barking. Anyway, Shiku just swung towards the area where he saw it got destroyed, which wasn't that far away from the League of Villains. And he saw a villain was all black and had a crazy amount of bullets. And he thought, there is one person in all of, pretty much, he's heard of the main villain. And he's like, and he thought of All Might, and he's like, his powers, this person's powers, they are almost the same, except one can't take quirks and give them. He's like, I know this person, I heard of this person before. And he's like, and then Zuko just gets, just channels, pretty much channels his electricity to its max. And it's like, wait, he calms himself down and lets All Might do the work. He's like, All Might, do what you are destined to do. I have figured out your quirk. And All Might is shocked, and pretty much All Might's like, well done, young man. So tell me, who are you? And she was like, for now, you will only know me as Demon Shadow. Now, All Might, do what you are destined to do. Or, should I say, what? He just smirks and says, Nana pretty much just has one finger. No, he's like, how should I do this? Oh, I know. He does the thing Nana Shamar would do, and just directly looks at All Might and goes like, do your master proud. And yeah, All For One and All Might are shocked that he knew exactly how Nana would do it. And who Nana even is. And pretty much, All Might's like, how do you know this? And Suku's like, that is for another day. For now, I suggest you should focus on your enemy, which I think is about to attack you. And yeah, All For One is about to attack All Might, and All Might's like, oh fuck, and pretty much dodges. So yeah, we skip a fight scene later, and yeah, All Might thought he defeated him, but he was wrong. So pretty much when All For One is about to stab him in the back, Suku's like, wrong move, and pretty much grabbed his Demon Slayer sword and goes like, you will never use your quirk again, and pretty much slice at his wrist. And yeah, All Might sees what Midoriya has done. He's like, yeah, Midoriya. I was like, what? I did not kill him. I just made it so he can no longer use his quirk easily. And now I think it should be a lot easier to capture him. And yeah, he gets captured easily. Now we get back to pretty much. Oh yeah, then we get in the footage didn't last long enough to see Zuko do that. Where no one could even see him do that. So yeah, the world doesn't know he's that powerful. Or that brutal. So yeah. Now we skip a week later. Well, actually now we skip to the Overhaul arc. And Natsuka's Peter and Izuku are working on the ultimate shadow. The ultimate shadow, demon shadow, and shadow spider suits. Basically, Nakazu and Izuku are working on that one, and Peter and Izuku Nakazu and Izuku are working on Demon Shadow. Well, Peter and Izuku are working on Shadow Spider. Shadow Spider at night. Demon Shadow Spider at night. Demon Shadow at day. So yeah. And then we get to the arc of Overhaul. And Suku, now we see it is, and yeah, now the suits are done. They just need the defenses now. And yeah, the suits, all they need now is the defenses that the other two suits have. All the other suits have, basically combining all the suits into one almighty suit. And when he becomes the #1 hero, he's basically still gonna be the Shadow Spider, but yeah. Basically, I'm making it so Shadow Spider never kills. And yeah, the world, basically all the citizens of Japan sees him as a hero, not a vigilante. And it's now we get to the overhaul arc, and we see now. Okay, not I told Izuku and Lemillion, well, Demon Shadow and Lemillion to pretty much search out for any trouble in the area. And yeah, they're doing that, and then we see a little girl with white hair, red eyes, and a little horn running. And Izuku sees the little girl, and pretty much his senses are going haywire, are pretty much going. Yeah, pretty much all his senses, except the spider sense, is going like save, 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 save. Pretty much like that. And Izuku is like, when Eri bumps into him, he's like, hey, are you okay? And she pretty much, when she hears a voice, she pretty much, yeah, she's just, yeah, before the voice even pops up, oh, the voice starts going, she's just goes into Izuku's arms. And when he hears the voice, he feels her grip tighter. And Izuku's like, And yeah. Then he carefully puts a spider tracker in her hair. It's like, so, yeah. Izuku doesn't trust this guy one bit. And the way he looks, it's like, that does not look like a normal person. So yeah, he's like, yeah, put a tracker in our hair. At the core of it. And pretty much, yeah, and they say Overhaul doesn't know how to read lips, but Eri does. And Izuku, and when she looks back at Izuku, he just mouths, I will save you. Pretty much mouths, I will save you. That's what he mouths toward her. And she, yeah, then we skip to night. Well, actually, no, we skip to later. When, yeah, she was like, 1 million. We need to get to Starnight Eye, quick. And he's like, why? I think he would know who that is. He's like, why do you think so? Just come on. And he pretty much, and you just, and when they get to Starnight Eye's like, what did you find? He's like, and she was like, this is who I think I know, I'm almost 100% sure I found exactly who you're looking for. And he's like, who are you talking about? And then he describes exactly what he looked like. And if I remember correctly, he still had that coat that he wears as a villain. And Night like, good, Izuku. You did well. It's like, thank you. And then, yeah, then we skip to night. And we see Shadow Spider right above, right on the building where Eri is. And yeah, Shadow Spider just goes invisible and goes into the building. And none of the sensors are, basically, if there's any alarm systems, they wouldn't be pretty much activated at that point, because yeah, Zuko's invisible, which also means his heat is invisible as well. So yeah, and he gets to Eri's location. And yeah, he's wearing his his most powerful suit now, which is the ultimate Shadow Spider suit. And when now Izuku gets in there, and yeah, he's able to get through there easily because he's small enough to do it. And when Eri feels a touch on her shoulder, and she gets scared because she sees no one, she just says in her ear, "It's me, the person that you were holding tightly to earlier in the morning." And she was like, and she just hold on to him tight and like, hold on. And he pretty much make her invisible as well. So she would be able to see him now. It's like, you're alright now. I am here to rescue you. And she's like, but he'll kill you. And it's like, no, he won't. Especially with this suit I have on now. It is almost impossible to kill me. And then they get out of there. Because, yeah, you made it so she would be invisible as well. So, yeah. We get to Izuku at his home. Oh, yeah, and pretty much they asked Izuku if he wanted to be in the dorms, and said, no, I feel safer at my home. And like, yeah, they're like, yeah, but it's like, I feel safer at home, which he is way safer at home than he is anyway. So yeah, sorry about noises. And we see pretty much Izuku come into the house with Eri in his arms, right out of his costume as well. And yeah, as soon as he came into the house, he took pretty much matches his pretty much thought of his costume being off, and it went back into his bracelet. And then he put her down, but like, you're safe now. They will not be able to find you. And he also took off the spider tracker off her and pretty much put it back in his pocket. It's like, it's alright now. They won't be able to find you. It's like, yeah, but it's like, they will not be able to find you. I made sure of that. She's like, oh, okay. It's like, good. Now, he's like, pretty much grabs his earpiece and puts it on his ear. You're like, Travis, tell everyone to meet me in the home. And like, in the basement. It's like, I'm ready, sir. It's like, good. And he's like, come on, Eri. I mean, what's your name, little girl? It's like, Eri. It's like, good. Anyway, come on, little Eri. You're gonna meet some other people. And they're like, are they mean? It's like, no, they're kind people. Very kind. And then she saw Zuku's red crystal necklace, and she was like, pretty. It's like, you think it's pretty? It's like, yeah. It's like, and yeah, then he gets into the base, and he sees Peter Parker, Aunt May, and Natsuka's Namka there. And he's like, hey guys. It's like, hey Izuku, who you got there? It's like, someone I just saved. It's like, what? It's like, you know the character Overhaul? He's a villain. It's like, oh shit. It's like, yeah. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. Anyway, it was like, and they're like, oh, so what's this little girl's name? It's like, Eri. Her name is Eri. And I'm guessing that she was experimented on by the way her bandages are. It's like, and yeah, Stain is, oh, also Stain is there. I forgot to put Stain in there as well. Because yeah, he did join the group. And Stain is like, who the fuck does that? And He's like, apparently this alcohol guy. And he's like, hi. And yeah, pretty much Peter and May and Nightcars just say, hello, little girl. And she was like, staying? It's like, yeah. You might scare her a little bit. It's like, yeah, why? It's like, he just points around his nose like, oh, yeah, that might scare her. It's like, yeah. Especially since she's still a little girl. And she's like, scared of what? And he's like, sweetie, have you ever seen a person without a nose? It's like, oh, no. It's like, I don't think you want to. It's a little bit creepy. And she's like, yeah, I don't want to. And it's like, here. He's like, Stan, just keep your thing on. It's like, sure, Midoriya. It's like, thank you. Now I can say hi to her. It's like, hello, little girl. And then she was like, sweetie, how long have you been with that person? And he's like, and she tells him how long. And he's like, little girl, do you know how to smile? And she's like, what is smiling? And she was like, yeah, that. She was like, She was like, Nakaz, could you make it possible for me to adopt this girl? And he's like, why? It's like, because I said so. I want to do it, so I will do it. And I would kindly like your help. And Nakaz is like, sure. Yeah, he is scared of him, because if he's serious and has pretty much makes a code, pretty much looks code at him, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna help him. Like, pretty much, yeah, I'm not gonna argue with him. That's pretty much the way he thinks when Suku makes that face and does that voice. Now we skip to a week later, and they got the Suku finally was able to adopt this girl. And yeah, then Suku saw Eri accidentally use her quirk, which is reverse, which is rewind, and he's like, huh, so that's a girl's quirk. Looks like she doesn't have any control. So I'm gonna help her train it. She looks scared because, yeah, she was like, what's wrong, honey bun? It's like, my quirk is a curse. And he was like, no, it is a blessing. Any quirk like that is a blessing. Like you could rewind someone to when they never got any bones broken. Or you could rewind someone to their prime. I could see you doing so much good if you knew how to control your quirk. And she tears up and hugs him. He's like, and from now on, I'll be taking care of you. And and if you want to, you can call me Dad. And she's like, oh, okay. It's like, good. Now you'll be living with me in Nakaz. That man with the black hair. It's like, okay, good. Now let's head home. And yeah, Overhaul does not know what happened. Because one, there's no cameras near Ares locate where Ares was at. So you wouldn't be able to know. So yeah. Now let's get to when they attack Overhaul, and she was like, to Charles Spider-Man, and well, Peter, that he would use his help. He was like, Spider-Man, I could use your help. Well, actually, no, it's like, actually, at that time, also, all of Peter's enemies pretty much attack him. And, yeah, at this point, Zuko sees, tries to stain as much as Peter, so yeah, Zuko gave him a earpiece for the supercomputer as well. So yeah, they can all, and all the earpieces are connected to each other. And so was like, when he hears what's happening on Peter's end, he's like, he just pretty much tells Stain to get over to Peter fast. And he was like, what is it? He's like, Spider-Man, Peter's in trouble. He's like, on it. Because yeah, they trust each other with their lives. Then Stain starts rushing over there. Sorry about that. Anyway, Stain rushes towards Peter's location. And yeah. Now we're just gonna skip. And oh, Kirishima has a better time. And yeah, Nasha helps with that big guy. And they win against him. Eventually. Now we're gonna get to Zuko going against, who pretty much punching through the wall. And he sees that scene with Mario, with Mario in Night Eye. I think at that time, Night Eye got punctured. Well, I'm gonna say since Harry ain't there, Mario's still gonna have his quirk. So yeah, when he saw Night Eye like that, he was like, no. He pretty much went like, no, and pretty much like, just pretty much finally did it. Wears his ultimate demon shadow. So, and he just went like, and his thoughts, he was like, finally time. And he finally does it. He's just been wearing his original, his first stage of it. Pretty much the one that only has all the defenses. But this one is the ultimate demon shadow. It's like, in his mind, he releases that suit, and he goes like, and he just says, it's his time, and he pushes his ear button and thinks of Ultimate Demon Shadow, because yeah, that's the title, that's the name of that suit. And then the suit starts to go on, and it starts from his bracelet. And it looks like nanomachines just sprouting out of the bracelet and coming onto Zuko. And this spider suit has that cape thing. Has a thing on his back for spider legs. Yeah, those. Basically, it's a red and black version of the Iron Spider, but with nanomachines. So yeah, it's that. And Zuko's like, it's like, I am ready. And then he pretty much goes over to Sir Night and goes like, Sir Night, are you alright? It's like, I got hit. It's like, where's our opponent? And he points directly at Overhaul. It's like, and he sprints directly at Overhaul. And when Overhaul tries to block or attack him, all it does is, it basically when it touches him, it breaks. It basically, the moment it touches Izuku's armor, the moment it touches Izuku's armor, it gets destroyed. It pretty much goes like, basically, it's basically a stick hitting, pretty much hitting cement. Yeah, it's basically, that's what it's. Basically, the stick is the stuff that he's aiming at Izuku, and Izuku's armor is the cement. And basically, it's destroying all of the stuff that it's getting touched by. So, yeah. Overhaul's like, what? Because, he's kinda gone against something like this. It's like, Overhaul! And pretty much punches him in the face, which knocks him out almost immediately. The part when he gets knocked out is when he hits a wall. So Izuku's like, and then he hears, pretty much, just runs over to Nanai. And Nanai is pretty much, Nanai still dies. As far as I remember, in the anime, he does die. And now we're gonna skip 12 hours later. And Izuku's just holding on to the button on his earpiece to listen to what's happening. Pretty much, Izuku just rushes towards, 1 hour later, he's rushing towards where Peter Parker and Sane are at. And he's listening into the combat that they're in. And it sounds like Peter is losing and Sane is struggling to even fight back. And he's like, no. And by the time he gets there, Peter is on the ground. Almost like on the brink of death. At this point, Izuku sees Peter as a brother. A stepbrother. A brother from another mother, basically. And she was like, no. And he pretty much knocks out all the villains. But Goblin, it takes longer. And Goblin does the finishing blow on Peter. And she was like, no! And pretty much punches Goblin in the face. And all of them are knocked out. And Sting just rushes over and goes like, Victoria! Is Parker okay? Is Peter okay? He's like, well, no, I need to find out. And he pretty much goes to see if he has a heartbeat. And he's like, no! Pretty much yells, no! And Stan is like, no. Stan also saw Izuku as pretty much just saw all the people that were helping each other. Pretty much. Namikaze made Peter Parker, and Izuku as family now. And Stan's like, no. And basically, both of them just yelled, no! At the top of their lungs at the same time. And pretty pretty much the funeral for Peter Parker and Spider-Man happened. Oh yeah, and Peter has been staying connected with his wife or girlfriend. Can't remember right now. I think it's wife. And yeah. Yeah, and basically everyone Peter knew pretty much came to the funeral. That pretty much loved him for pretty much everyone who loved him for who he was. Yeah, Zuko, Nankaz, Aunt May, well, May Peter. Oh, and staying in civilian clothing. Yeah, he doesn't wear. Yeah, after he met Zuko, pretty much when he started becoming a vigilante with him, he finally got civilian clothing. So yeah, and Zuko's like, no, pretty much every time he's. Yeah, he just thinks. Yeah, now he's like, no. He's pretty much turned from a little bit happy to pretty much serious almost all the time. He's almost not. He's only not serious when he's not with here. He's only not. He's the only time he's not serious is when he's with his loved ones. Any other times, he is completely serious. So yeah. Basically, Nasha. Basically, family and friends. Yeah, he will be non-serious around, but when he's basically he'll be cold and serious, a cold and collective person. No, just a cold and serious person. But around his friends and family, he's no pretty much what he normally is. So yeah. Basically, everyone that knew Peter was trying to saw how distraught Zuko was. And yeah, Peter's wife asked who he is. He's like, it's Zuko Midoriya, friend of Peter Parker. Hero name, Demon Shadow. So yeah, she pretty much cried with Zuko because yeah, Zuko does cry. It's just not as much. So yeah, then we get to the next day and Zuko's trying to still process that Peter died. And yet, Avery is trying to cheer up her daddy as much as possible, which is Zuko. Remember, I did make Zuko adopt her. Yeah, and Nasha finally figured out that he did adopt a little girl, and she's like, she is so cute. When she first saw her, which was before the incident. This pretty much this one. So she's like, Zuko, please. I'm fine. I just need to collect myself. I'll just have another section gone for a while, for a little bit. Actually, I'll just have a section gone for my happiness, that's all. yeah, then we skip to. Now we skip 1 month later when they got a break from UA. And we see, and then, yeah, we're gonna go to Miles Morales' universe. Yes, if you guys know what I'm doing, you'll love it. And we see, basically that part in Miles' universe where Spider-Man got put into that portal, pretty much got put into that thing by Goblin. And yeah, then instead of 5, they see 6 alternate universes. Yes. And yet, then we go back to, and then portals open for each universe, and Izuku is sucked in. And Izuku's like, yeah, and he's just in his room by himself. And then he sees a portal. It's like, what the? And he sees that it's kind of glitching a little bit. It's like, wait a minute. And he sees another version of Spider-Man. It's like, alternate universes. And he's like, well, crap. And he pretty much gets sucked in. And before he got completely sucked in, actually, before it even sucked him in, it's like, Jarvis, record this immediately. And it's like, right away, sir. And then pretty much recorded the whole thing. Oh, and Peter Parker's in his universe, earpiece got destroyed at the same time. So yeah, she was like, yeah, he said, Jarvis, immediately record this, and if I get sucked in, pretty much show this video to the others. He's like, right away, sir. And then yeah, pretty much it's showing what Izuku sees. And yeah, Stain is as smart as Izuku, so he'll figure out that this is alternate universes. And this is where we're gonna end this one off. I'll make the final part later. And this will be talking about pretty much, this will be over the movie of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you guys like this, like, subscribe, and comment for more. Anyway, see you guys next time.